I will tell you about the Factor 10 restoration program for energy efficient building restoration in Mainz. Mainz, with its 14,000 inhabitants, should reach within 2 or 3 decades the zero-emission city status with the help of the Factor 10 restoration program, which means the CO2 balance could be reduced to zero by 2030, respectively 2040. Therefore, the concept assigns that economic and efficient systems solutions will be attained and transposed with the factor 10 for energetic restoration of buildings. A CO2 and primary energy reduction up to 100% can be reached, as well as a running expense reduced up to 70 to 90%. The essence of the concept is the urban furnace program with the municipal council passed on the November 2009, and which should also set up an inducement that the old building stock in Neumarkt will be rebuilt extensively. By the end of the program 2020, a reduction of the primary energy consumption with the average of 85 should be reached. The restoration message with or above all need to the citizens of Neumarkt. The assumption for the success of this climate protection program is the use of the urban furnace parallel to the existing programs. The use of the furnace should ensure that high efficiency standards will be reached. Therefore, will be paid up to 1 million euros per year with the reservations of the agreement of the Municipal Council of Neumarkt for measures of the restoration of living houses and the restoration of non-living houses, as well as new buildings. The grants will be natural and juridical persons being owners of buildings in the town of Neumarkt. The right of furtherance receive property owner communities and residents of buildings with a lifelong right of use further on associations which have their place of residence and their premise in the urban area of the town. In details will be promoted. Energy advice when measures are transposed. Components for building services, engineering like solar, thermal systems, biomass bowl, heat pump, connection to a local or district heating network, car systems, and supply and exhaust systems with heat recovery. Measures being done on the building envelope, such as isolation and windows. The amount of the furnace is subdivided from the NF minimum standard and from KfW 115 to KfW 14. Here you see the standards of the KfW energy efficient restoration from KfW 130. This one to KfW 55. This one. There are examples for the promotion you can get for restoration. Solarthermie and insulation of the wall is an amount of 1,300 euros. The standard KfW 85 is an amount of 5,250 by a living space of 150 square meters. The standard of KfW 55 for a new passive building for a restoration is the amount of 50,700, this one, on a living space of 130 square meters. The standard of KfW for a new passive building is an amount of 3,900 by a living space of 130 square meters. A further element of NONMOC's extensive program for sustainability and climate protection is the Green House Number. This seal of approval is awarded to owners of buildings constructed and run in a sustainable and environmentally friendly way for their commitment. The evaluation is based on a point system with different categories. Applicants are awarded to a seal of approval if they achieve 100 points or more. Every house owner in NONMOC can apply for a Green House Number. We spend a large part of our lives inside buildings. Whether we are working, learning, relaxing, or sleeping, the house surrounds us like a second skin. How we build this house and which materials we use influences our sense of well-being and our health. How we build and run our household has a direct influence on the environment and the climate. It influences our own quality of life and that of our children in the future. Together with cars and industry, building and living cause the greatest environmental pollution. The production of building materials, transport and the construction process itself all consume raw materials and energy. If the materials contain components which are dangerous to the house or the environment, they must be disposed of as special waste. Building with nature promotes both the personal well-being and the occupant and environmental protection, whilst also saving a lot of money and adding value to the building. A building which is erected according to ecological and environmentally friendly criteria holds a lot of advantages for the occupant. This is achieved through air quality, regulated intra-air humidity, the natural change of air, a well-balanced ratio of the heat insulation and heat storage, and also a high proportion of radiant heating. Furthermore, electromagnetic fields and radio waves should be kept out. The correct measurements, proportions and shapes considered and daylight fully applied. The evaluation is based on a points system. Energy efficient building, like 5D standards. It's also a promotion program of the town. Selection of building materials, nature materials, wooden construction or using wood for windows, floors, stairs, insulation made of natural or renewable materials, surfaces made of natural products. Building with the sun, solar heat and photovoltaics. It's also a promotion of the Factor 10 program. Heating technology, ventilation, biomass heat pump, and plant regulations. Water conservation, the utilization of rainwater and rainwater seepage. Nature protection at home, facade greenings, nesting boxes, more than 30-year-old wood, kitchen garden, environmental protection in everyday life. Low energy consumptions for heating, 60 or 40 kilowatt hours. Lower power consumption, 680 or 530 kilowatt hours a person. Low drinking water consumption, less than 38 or 30 cubic meters a person. Building fittings, porch facade and roof isolations. It's also in the promotion program Factor 10. And special points for non-residential buildings. It's organizations and companies who are certified by EMAS ISO 40001 or schools who have study groups on the themes youth, eating, reduction and recycling, waste, and environmentally friendly cleanings. In each case there are points to be earned. For a total of 100 points or more, the Green House Number is awarded. If possible, the house owners should get points in all the categories. There is an official Greenhouse Number Award ceremony where the house owners are presented with a certificate and the individual house number, which you have get around the moment. For detailed information, there is information brochure and the bureau in the house.
Citizens Bureau.
House for the citizens.
House for the citizens. Okay. Then the exhibition Bau Natur was in Neumarkt in 2010 to inform the public in the square front of the town hall in Neumarkt about building and living with renewable raw materials. The traveling exhibition presented by the Fachagentur Nachwachsende Rohstoffe is a specialist for renewable raw materials in Germany, who were running the project on behalf of the Federal Ministry of Consumer Protection, Food and Agriculture, with the support of the town of Neumarkt as part of the Factor 10 renovation program. Bau Natur, Inform and Compare. Bau Natur showed what can be done with renewable raw materials in the building sector, insulation materials made of hemp, flax or cellulose, floor coverings out of sisal and cork, or material paints for interior design. The topic of heating with wood was also addressed. The visitors were able to touch and compare the numerous exhibits and pick up information with leads on all these themes. The walk-in exhibition box was made to 90% of renewable raw materials. Once a year we have a bicycle tour through the town in cooperation with the Bicycle Club in Neumarkt, where property owners open their doors to allow others to see their buildings, which were built in an energy efficient and sustainable manner. Thank you. Any questions?